you can constantly abuse Luigi's super jump to give him enough brain damage in less than 30 seconds. I mean, it's just a blooper on steroids. So last week, I covered my favourite bosses in the series, but now it's time to cover the opposite. Whilst this series is home to some of my all-time favourite bosses, there are several that are just...
This is cancer!
Basically, these are the 10 bosses in the series that I hate the most. It's based on the same criteria as last week, except it's how bad they are in said criteria. So with that said, let's go! The Mario Party series has seen some surprisingly good boss fights. A bunch of retarded Goombas was not one of them. Okay, first of all, the boss is just a tower of Goombas. Second of all, its only attack is to slowly run at you. In fact, you can actually run faster than this boss. All you need to do is throw the nuts that appear on the field at the tower to make it go timber, which will leave them wide open. I mean, come on, even on Goomba standards this is pathetic. Even adding the spiky nuts in the second half does nothing, as you can just walk around them. I wouldn't have expected much from a bunch of Goombas. I mean, just look at these idiots. Yeah, I wouldn't expect much from that. But this boss doesn't even clear those expectations. When Super Mario 3D World first came out, I loved the hell out of it, but 5 years on, it's kinda fell into obscurity. But even at the time, I thought the bosses were meh. Whether they were auto-scrollers, the boss dealing with his small syndrome, or being pathetically easy. I mean, what a stupid concept this is. It's just a regular Kafung that has one quarter of the inside covered in. And with that, you can probably work out what's wrong with this fight. It's so easy to get out of his way before he comes down. And if you're not in the square next to him, he has no actual way of hitting you. All you need to do is jump on his defenseless back 3 times and win. There's no challenge here. The timer has a better chance of killing you than this boss fight does. Super Paper Mario's boss selection was, yeah, it was pretty bad. But there is a clear worse choice here. Whilst the boss may look intimidating, he's anything but it. Whilst he does have plenty of attacks that can freeze you, and a whopping 70 HP, as long as you have some amount of health, you can constantly abuse Luigi's super jump to give him enough brain damage in less than 30 seconds. Even if this was a first boss, it'd be really stupid. But no, it's the last boss before the final world. But believe me, there are worse Paper Mario bosses out there. Oh, Paper Jam, what a disappointment you were. The whole game was just dull to play, and I mean that for both the overworld and the boss fights. I mean, they replaced the really cool giant battles with these travesties of boss fights. You see, this boss fight already ticks me off before it starts, because you had to deal with all the other rubbish papercraft boss fights. And then you get to the boss itself, and it's the same dodge this attack and stomp on them whilst they're tied after said attack, using the really clunky controls. The only difference here is that you need to use the fireballs to stun him first, which is easy to do unless you run out of energy. Which in that case, you need to temporarily hold the barrel to play some Diet Dance Dance Revolution Mario mix. It's not too bad on its own, the rhythm game, but it just drags out the fight even longer. Whenever I eventually see the papercraft battles blow up, I don't feel any sense of satisfaction. I just feel a sigh of relief that it's all over. Nothing's worse in a great game than ending on a major letdown of a final boss. That is until they made the boss so pathetically easy that you wonder how it even got past the final game. After going through one of the best levels in the game, with the sweet use of the power-ups and awe-inspiring music, you get to this joke of a final fight. The first phase is the exact same as the second Bowser fight, but surely it couldn't be that easy, right? Right, it's actually easier. All this last phase consists of is Bowser slowly going towards you, leaving himself wide open to pound a meteor into him. Bowser will eventually try to push the meteor you're on, but you'll likely hit him before he even has a chance. This fight is another waste of the jaw-dropping visuals and the absolute godlike music, because the fight will likely be over before the music even gets to loop. But hey, at least this fight tried to be epic and different. Unlike... So, New Super Mario Bros. 2. Yeah, I don't blame you. It's got nothing going for it that other games don't offer. So how do you end an uncreative game? With an uncreative boss, of course. The first phase is the overdone, boring run under him when he jumps and hit the switch. Then the obligatory giant Bowser part comes up. All it consists of is you jumping on platforms ahead of the rising lava, whilst Bowser slowly swipes at you with his claws. So slowly in fact, that you'll be on the other side of the tower by the time the swipe comes down and destroys the platforms. Like seriously, the lava is more of a threat than Bowser here could even dream of. Even with the fire and the lighter phases that can hurt you, dodging all of his attacks is still pathetically easy. Like I said, this fight is just really uncreative, right down to using the same music as the last fight. Yeah, it's an awesome song, but it's still incredibly lazy. Actually, lazy is the perfect word to describe this fight, and this whole game. What can I say about the bosses in this game that hasn't already been said? Now, I don't mind some stickers being more effective than others on bosses, but when needing a random sticker is needed to beat the boss, there's a problem. It's not just that though, it's when to use that sticker. I mean, going into the battle, how was I meant to know that you needed to use the sponge to deflect the poison? I mean, even discount the fact that it's really uncreative for Paper Mario standards. I mean, it's just a blooper on steroids. The only thing you need to do is eat up his attacks for a few turns, and then use the sponge to deflect the poison. Or alternatively, have the boss wipe the floor with you in what's a massive difficulty spike. So obviously, you'll want to use the sponge. And at that point, there's no challenge. You just constantly attack a defenseless animal until you kill it. So as I said in my last countdown, I love the Elder Princess Shrew fight. It's one of my favourite final bosses out there. So obviously, it would have made an amazing finale. So who was the idiot who decided to add this at the end? Trowser is easily my least favourite boss in the Mario and Luigi series, because it's a finale to just ruin the end of the game. After the incredible fight before it, we get this crappy boss fight where you literally don't attack. Yeah, smart move on Bowser's end, but for a finale, it's absolute trash. You dodge 20 attacks and you win. The editing cared less for this game than Nintendo did. So Super Mario Sunshine's boss lineup isn't exactly the strongest. I mean, you got one that's just gambling, one that's just a boss in a bathtub, but none of them compare to... Oh my god, this goddamn fight. The Phantom Manta is one of the most longest, tedious, and most frustrating boss fights I've ever fought. The fight doesn't start out too bad, as the boss moves slowly, but as the fight goes on, it gets even more frustrating. After you've sprayed it enough, it'll start splitting into smaller Phantom Mantas that get even faster each time, making them harder to hit. What's annoying about this fight is that the boss can go everywhere on the map, meaning tracking them all down is a major pain. Well, until they all start coming towards you, and at that point they become as much fun to deal with as cancer. What's worse is that they leave electric goop in their trails, which limits your movement in being able to dodge them, especially if you run out of water, because you're wide open whilst you're refilling. It's an extremely agonizing boss that can easily combo damage you, and it's anything but fun to fight. There was a lot of bad bosses to choose from sadly, and only picking 10 of them was hard. So here are some more bad bosses that just missed out. Mega Goomba from New Super Mario Bros, Underground Gunner from Super Mario Galaxy, Bowser from Paper Mario Sticker Star, Lemmy from Paper Mario Color Splash, and Papercraft Bowser Jr. from Mario and Luigi Paper Jam Bros. So you thought using the sponge to deflect the poison for Goopa Blooper was bad? You'd be right, but there's another fight in this game that's even worse. Because in that boss, you can get away with trying to do as much damage as possible before needing the right sticker. In the Pokey Fight, however, that will screw you over. No, seriously, to beat this boss without tearing your hair out, you need to do little damage to the segments so that the Pokey will rise, and then use the baseball bat to heavily damage all of the segments. Okay, how the was I meant to figure that out? I don't have a problem with different stickers being more effective, but this is taking it way too far. So to sum it up, this boss is either a massive difficulty spike, or an over-glorified waiting game against a Pokey who probably did steroids with the Goopa Blooper. This has been Spidinklin, and if they ever do continue Paper Mario, I really hope they get rid of this needing a certain thing to win design the bosses have now.